In the beginning of the drama, we see our male lead handsome, talented, and rich Shin. In the business industry, his own name is big. If trading is talked about then in that he is #1 in relationships, and in business, he feels only one thing common, and that is taking risks. On the other hand, if we look at the female lead Shin, she is very pretty and also intelligent. She works in a company as a product manager. Her bestie, who is also her roommate, is a #1 playgirl. Because of this, she always gets angry that every time she brings some boy into the house. And every time she just convinces her by saying, "Next time I will never bring anyone again." In the next scene, while going to work, Shin was asking her boyfriendly, "How about going to office?" when director Jessica's call comes that on the way there is some work and some problem has happened. She does not have money for taxi, so later she decided to take fare from the director. Meanwhile, our hero Zen also stops the same taxi in which Shin was sitting. While running, he collides with someone and his stuff falls down and a receipt flies in the air somewhere else. She tries to catch it in a hurry. Then our hero Zen helps her in catching it. She thanks him and goes away. After that, now in the taxi, he finds her diary, but she has already left, so he keeps it with himself. Next day, today was a special day for Zen and his competitor Shaming, because in trading, the one with most profit was to become the new CEO of the company. A very tough competition starts between both of them. Our hero Zen is perfect in this. On the other hand, we are shown Shin's boyfriendly, who works in the same company where she worked, but they have hidden their relationship from everyone. Since they work in different departments, no one knows. In the morning, he remembers his notebook and gets worried where it went. Shaming tries to act over smart, thinking he will win, but when he sees Zen winning, his face becomes dull. Finally, our hero Zen becomes the CEO of the company. Everyone becomes happy. Zen's assistant, who is also his best friend, is very happy with his victory. Meanwhile, he starts reading Shin's notebook to find out where she is from. He reads all the information written in it. On the other hand, Shin looks sad. Her laptop password was in the notebook. Everyone is waiting to open her laptop. Suddenly, she gets Zen's call that, "I have reached your company. Come to the waiting room and take your notebook." She quickly reaches there. He came only to return her diary. She thanks him and says, "If I had more time, I would invite you for coffee." He stops her and says, "Do you even know what offering coffee means? In some countries, it is equal to calling for a date." She replies something, then he says, "You look very cute when you are angry. The money you wrote in the diary for buying a house is not enough nowadays." She gets more angry and says, "Why did you read my notebook?" He doesn't get affected and keeps teasing her. Then after chicken time, she was saved from getting fired in the meeting. In the next scene, they are sitting in a restaurant. Dating in company is not allowed, so they are secretly in a relationship. Today was their 3rd anniversary. They both were busy in lottery-type planning of their life. After that, in the night, she wants to stay, but he refuses, saying rules are only Saturday night you can stay. She gets a little upset and goes from there. Meanwhile, Hu Huan sees her and comes to tease her. She gets irritated, but he keeps saying, "Maybe this is our fate, that we meet 3 times in a day." She ignores him, but he does not leave her easily. He again starts talking about future planning and says, "What if your boyfriend cheats you? What will you do? And what if you cannot enjoy life before retirement?" She gets shocked and says, "What is your problem? Leave me alone." She tries to go, but her shirt accidentally tears and gets stuck. He covers her with his coat and gives his card. In the next scene, she tells everything to her bestie at Cape. Her bestie scolds her that such a handsome boy was flirting with you and you missed the chance. Next morning, Zen is still smiling, remembering Shin. He starts calling her again and again. He tells his assistant to bring that girl to the party. In the evening promotion party, Shin comes with her friends. She feels this is more like a club party. Then Zen enters and she realizes this whole arrangement is done by him. It is not a dinner party, but a matchmaking party. She wants to leave, but her bestie stops her. They stay there. Huan also flirts, but Shin ignores him. Her friend gets drunk. Then a game starts where whoever grabs toy will choose a girl and spend night with her. Zen chooses Shin. She gets angry and tries to leave. He challenges her that if she grabs something from him, then she can go. She tries but fails. Then Zen grabs the toy. Everyone disappears from there. She gets tense, but he does not let her go. She scolds him for having a girlfriend. He ties her near the bed and leaves her hanging there and says, "Think what you will answer your boyfriend." In the car, he sees girlfriend messages. He gives Shin the keys and tells her to go to boyfriend. She goes angry. After that, she goes to Li Hao and says she will not follow rules anymore. Then she sees gift and asks if it is for me. He says no, it is for my friend's girlfriend. Here it is understood that Jia Huan loves her, but she is not interested. She still cannot tell Shin about Hu Huan. Later, both get intimate. Then Jia Huan tells about his mother's death anniversary, and he agrees to take her to temple. Shin gets very happy as soon as Jivan leaves. She finds Shin's social media account and sends her a friend request, which she ignores right away. In the morning at the office, Kaif asks Shin what happened between you and Kohwan last night, tell me the truth. But she does not want to talk about it and looks very angry. On the other hand, she says, are you angry because he was with me at night and we spent very good time together? I am sure he has started liking me. Then Shin tells her the whole truth, that the person you think is a good person is not like that at all. Last night he tied me with handcuffs and then Jivan also came for shining. What kind of strange person is he? And she also says, if he was with you then who tied me last night? Meanwhile, at the office, Kawan's assistant tells him Jivan called you. He says, I am busy, I cannot attend any call. On the other hand, Kaif had gone at night with his number. She tells him Kaif messaged that she wants to talk about investment. He says she is calling you on a date. He even gives tips on what to reply. After that, she thinks Kawan messaged her, but later she finds out it was actually his assistant, not him. Since she is a playgirl, she does not miss the chance and goes with him to a hotel. In the next scene, Shin gets very angry because she never wanted to date anyone. Next day in office, Yen tells her he just confessed feelings to Kaif, but she got angry. He asks for Kaif's number. Then Shin goes to a coffee shop, but realizes she forgot her card. Kotwan pays her bill again. She gets angry and says, why do you always follow me everywhere? He says, if you return this money, then also return yesterday party money. She agrees. When she is leaving, he says, return my code also. She says, don't worry, I will send it to your office. After that, at night, in the next scene, both are working overtime. Lee Hao says he will drop her home, but another employee comes, so Lee Hao has to leave. After she is alone, Kohwan calls again, and again, she disconnects angrily. Then she goes to Coco Bar, and he also comes there. She says, I have a boyfriend and you have a girlfriend, so don't disturb me. He understands and says, okay, if you are happy, then I am also happy. Then he apologizes and touches her forehead, saying maybe all our memories will disappear. In the next scene, she goes home smiling. Next day at office, Jivan is busy because Shin is doing all work and giving treats to everyone. Shaming asks when you will marry Kawan. She says, after your turn, then ours. Later in the restaurant, she tells Jivan that her sister quit job and is coming back to country. She is shocked. She also talks about marriage preparation. He asks, how can you think about marriage without proposal? She says, surprise me when you want. Lee Hao and Shin go house hunting. They like one house, but cannot finalize it. They argue because Shin is tired of all rules. She says, what will happen to our life we cannot enjoy? She repeats Kawan's words about dying before retirement. He finally calms her down and they make up. On the other side, Jivan calls Kaif again for party. She says he is not interested, he just called for thing. In the next scene, Jivan meets her college friends. She finds out one friend's wedding is coming and Jivan also has boyfriend of 10 years. She is shocked. When bill comes, Jivan says, my boyfriend will pay. And then Kawan comes, so everyone realizes Jivan's boyfriend is Kawan. Both act like strangers. Lee Hao drops her friend. He wonders about Kawan's car. Later, Shin says she wants to sell apartment and buy big house. Kawan gets upset but stays silent. At home, she shows photos of Kawan and warns Kaif to stay away from him. Next scene, they go to see a beautiful house, but it belongs to Kawan and his friend. Shin is shocked but smiles. They introduce themselves. Lee Hao says they are in relationship for 3 years and will get engaged soon. Kawan also explains community membership and shows them around. Lee Hao leaves Shin with Kawan alone and Shin feels very tense. In the next scene, Shin warns Jivan again and says, you don't need to come between our matter. You are such a bad person. Why was Lee Hao asking about our relationship? He says, you have not even seen the real bad person yet. Then he lifts her and sits her on the balcony. She gets very tense and says, leave me. He says, if you shout loudly like this, your boyfriend will know everything that is happening here. Meanwhile, when he brings her down, both come very close and their heartbeats become fast. But he still does not let her go and blocks her way. He asks why it feels like you still cannot forget me and I am still in your eyes. She gets irritated and tries to hit him, but he holds her. Before he can kiss her, she pushes him aside. After that, both come back to normal and Shin decides she will never buy this house again. Lee Hao gets confused why she is suddenly so angry. Jivan thanks him and says, you have done a lot for me and my sister. We learn that he is actually fulfilling a promise he made to their mother before she died to take care of Jivan and her younger sister. So he only sees her as a friend, but she kept growing feelings for him. In the next scene at Coco Bar, he misses Shin a lot. He actually likes her, but she is not accepting it. Next day, Kaif asks Shin if she is in a relationship. She denies it. Kaif says, if I ever find out you are hiding it, my heart will break. On the other side, Zen meets CEO Mez for business discussion and coincidentally meets Lee Hao. They exchange cards. Lee Hao is a big fan, but cannot talk much. Later, Shin and Lee Hao discuss relationship, but Lee Hao refuses to tell anyone because company does not allow dating. Meanwhile, Jivan asks Zen for ideas to improve impress Kpop, but he says she will not be impressed. In the next scene, Shin is working late in heavy rain. Lee Hao offers to drop her home, but she lies that she has umbrella. She goes to buy one, but comes out with a paper box. Zen stops her and says you don't care about yourself and asks about her boyfriend. She says stay away from my matters. He apologizes and asks her to walk with him. He buys her umbrella and says Kpop is not my girlfriend. They listen to music together and rain stops. Next scene, Kpop receives flowers and thinks Jiwon sent them. Later, Jiwon tells her Jiwon is interfering in business. Lee Hao gets angry and argues with Shin saying don't interfere in business. She gets emotional, but he tells her to stop doing this. She realizes he does not love her, but still does not give up. Then she calls Shin, but she does not answer. Zen comes to her house in rough style. She gets scared and asks how he knows address. He says if you want house cheap then spend one night with me. She gets furious. Jiwon overhears and thinks Zen likes Shin, but Jiwon says she likes Zen too. Next day, Jiwon's younger sister returns from USA. She is independent and wants her own life. Lee Hao's father also comes to see apartment. He scolds Lee Hao for not caring about Shin. He even suggests Shin marry someone else. Later, he reveals Lee Hao's past that his mother died when he was 4 and he was raised by his father. Shin gets emotional and asks why he did not tell her. He says I don't want sympathy. Later in restaurant, Meiji returns money for her education fees and Zen accepts it. He gets more impressed by her independent nature. Then he learns she is interfering in Zen's business. In the next scene, her sister also starts telling her that you are going too much. She says, hey, what do you know, I am just trying to support him, while she has no realization at all, so why are you saying like this? Now he was just sitting quietly there only listening to both of their talk. Meanwhile, if we see Shin, she is still thinking about his condition that no, if I really want to fulfill Lee Hao's dream then I will have to sacrifice myself. Next day at the office, seeing his court again, he becomes very happy. There was also a note there, but what was written in it was not told. As soon as he comes outside and looks, she is standing there after overworking herself. She tells him, I am ready to accept your condition. So he also says, okay, it is done. Now the place where they had to spend time, he had already decided the location, but about the timing he tells her to select the day. So she says Saturday, which is obvious it was the next day. She had not yet told her boyfriend about this. Next scene outside, she calls him, get ready very nicely and come out quickly, I am waiting for you. Now seeing her selecting clothes, Kpop gets surprised and asks, where are you going? She tells her, I am going on a blind date. She had not told Kpop till now. She becomes happy and also wishes her best of luck. When she comes out ready, she looks so pretty that he just keeps looking at her and also praises her a lot. On the way, he keeps teasing her, which makes her very irritated. While talking, he also says, wow, in keeping secrets, you are totally perfect. You know dating is not allowed in your company, and you both have been in a relationship for 3 years and nobody knows about it. She just keeps listening quietly, and in her mind, she starts thinking, how did he find out? Now the place they had booked for spending time was very beautiful. Tonight their plan was a barbecue party. Meanwhile, Shin also starts helping them there. He just keeps looking at her. While working like this, it becomes night. Other people have already left. Now he notices her sweating and comes to clean her, but she feels very uncomfortable. They both eat food together. She also knows what is going to happen next, so she feels a little upset. Next scene, David again comes near Kpop and confesses his feelings once again. Please agree to date me. She again rejects him and tells him to leave. Meanwhile, he brings a very expensive Japanese apple and asks her to cut it. When she finds out it is very expensive, she refuses completely, saying, why should we waste it? In this small fight, the apple falls directly into the lake. Now she goes into the water to get it. He is shocked, but also helps her. Even he carries her inside, and he is very impressed, thinking, I wish you were my girlfriend, I would never leave you. Both come into the tent. Now getting close to her, he asks, how did you agree to spend the night with me? She tells him, I just want to fulfill my boyfriend's dream. He has a wish to buy a very good house, so I am sacrificing myself to complete his dream. Hearing this, he becomes very angry. He thinks she came here to cheat her boyfriend. He says, you girls are all same, you don't think about others' feeling. He also tells her, forget my house, I will never give it to you. Saying this, he leaves. Jiwon becomes worried, so her sister tells her to message him, but she says it's okay, when he wants he will come. Now she understands something happened between them. Their relationship is not like before. Next day, he leaves in anger. Next scene, we see him with Yen at a jewelry shop. He says he wants to buy something for Kave. He says, I will wait here. Meanwhile, Lee Hao also comes there and meets him again, who is buying a ring for Shin to finally propose. When he learns this, he becomes very sad. He helps him choose the ring, but he feels hurt inside. He remembers all their moments. A person always gets hurt seeing the one he loves with someone else. Kave sees Shin's sad face and asks what happened. She tells him everything. She says the blind date person was tall, handsome, and rich. He asks then, why did you reject him? She says, I didn't reject him, he rejected me. She becomes shocked whether she should be happy or sad. Meanwhile, Kwon is still there. He decides to sell his house at a discount. When he tells this, he becomes very happy and immediately calls Shin. She gets shocked because he told her he will not sell the house. She quickly calls him, but he does not pick up. She asks him what is going on in his life, but he doesn't tell anything. Next scene, he is sitting in Coco Bar. He came there to forget his sadness. Shin also comes looking for him. She asks why he changed his decision. He says, I always want you to be happy. He also regrets that he should have met her earlier. He confesses his love again. He says she is a very genuine girl, and he has never seen someone sacrifice herself for her boyfriend like this. Seeing him so sad, she also feels bad. She softly touches his head. Before leaving, he says, I sold my house because our memories are attached there. Coming home, he tells Jivan everything. He says he sold the house to Shin's friend. She wanted to ask at what price, but he doesn't tell her. She feels something is wrong. She thinks Jivan is not interested in her matters. She tells him to talk before buying a new house. Meiji feels distance is increasing between them, but he says there is nothing like that, he is just busy. Next scene, finally, he sells his apartment to Lee Hao. Shin becomes sad. She is very upset and does not pay attention to Lee Hao. It feels like she has fallen in love with Kaowin. Meanwhile, he starts working very hard in the office to forget Shin. His boss is shocked seeing him working so hard. Jian asks him what happened, but he does not share his personal life with anyone. And yes, she had already told Shin about selling her house. Now Shin had to meet at the cave. She had called him by sending a special message. He was thinking that maybe she has agreed to date her mom, so now he starts requesting her here, please let me go. He also then agrees, okay, you go, I will stay here. Next scene, we are shown David sitting with Kave. Now finally, as soon as she gave him the ring, she rejects his ring too and says, I said I don't want to come into any relationship. At the same time, she was also asking him about his boss. He looks surprised and thinks, I am sitting with you right now and you are asking about my boss? He gets very annoyed by this and also says, look, he already has a girlfriend and she is very pretty, so you should give up on him, that will be better. Meanwhile, at a store, by coincidence, both of them meet again, but he ignores her and starts leaving from there. She calls him from behind to talk. He stops, but also makes an excuse of being busy and leave. Next scene, Jivan again wanted to talk about apartments and all, but he avoids it and leaves from there. Here Jiding is explaining to her sister, you should really talk to Kaehwan, I don't think your relationship is the same anymore. She does not agree and says, no, you are just misunderstanding, everything is still the same like before. Yes, only a little distance has come because of being busy, but it will end very soon. After that, in the next scene, we are shown Lee Hao's dad, who has come to see the apartment. He is very happy for both of them, and he likes this apartment a lot. He also says, best of luck, and even says, now you both should get married. She smiles in front of them, but as soon as she remembers the moments spent with Zen, she becomes sad again. But in front of them, she keeps a fake smile so they don't notice anything. Coming home, she tells Kaif that she is shifting to another apartment. After hearing this, she is shocked. What is this? We have been living together for 3 years and now you are leaving me. She tells her, I have a boyfriend and we both bought an apartment together, so I have to go. Hearing this, she gets more angry. What do you mean boyfriend? Why didn't you tell me? Who is he and how does he look? She tells her he works in our company and his name is Lee Hao, but she doesn't know much about him. Seeing her emotional, she comforts her, don't be sad, I will always come to meet you. Next scene, Lee Hao had arranged some surprise in the apartment and also says they should invite Zen and his girlfriend once to their house. After that, he quickly calls Jivan and invites her home, and then she tells him about it. Hearing this, he gets upset thinking he is trying to ignore Vev, but keeps meeting her again and again. Even if she ignores him many times or avoids talking about relationship, still to lighten her heart, she calls him once. Slowly, their bonding with Yen keeps keeps increasing and he doesn't even realize it. Meanwhile, Jiwon and Zen both come to their apartment. Today Wei Wei was wearing the same dress she wore that day when she went with him. He was again looking at her with longing eyes. She looked very pretty. She starts telling them about security guards and says, Lee Hao, come with me, I will introduce you to security staff and others, it will be easier for you to stay here. He goes with her and both Shin and Zen are left alone behind. They just keep looking at each other. Now finally, he emotionally kisses her and says, Shin, I have tried a lot to forget you, but I can't do it. Zen gives her two conditions. Either forget everything and pretend nothing happened or come with me right now. She gets confused. Should I cheat on my boyfriend or not? But she says, no, I cannot do this to him. At that moment, others also come from upstairs. They don't notice anything that happened. Taking advantage of the moment, he proposes to her. Seeing this proposal, Zen is shocked. Wei Wei quickly takes the ring and wears it herself and says, I am ready to marry you, arrange everything quickly. Hearing this, Zen's heart breaks badly. On the way back, she says, see how lovingly Lee Hao proposed to her, when will you surprise me like this? He then talks about breakup and says, you can stay in your new apartment, I will manage myself. He leaves from there and she is very upset. Next scene, Lee Hao tells his dad he proposed and she agreed for marriage. But Shin is not happy. She is confused, thinking, if I go with Zen, then what will happen to Lee Hao? He loves me so much, I cannot betray him. On the other hand, Zen is so stressed thinking about Shin that he cannot focus on work and the company is getting lost. David becomes very happy seeing this, thinking, if it continues like this, Zen will be removed as CEO and I will become CEO. Seeing ring in office, she understands Lee Hao has proposed. She tells him to remove the ring, otherwise it will be bad, because dating is not allowed in company. Seeing her upset, he asks what happened. She says, girls should be excited when proposed, but you're opposite, do you not like Lee Hao? She replies, it is not like that. Next scene, Zen is again scolded by boss for not focusing on work. Jiwon calls him to rooftop. A man tries to flirt with her, but she handles him well and goes to rooftop. She tells him dating is not allowed in company, so resign and find another job. Just then he gets a message call from May asking him to meet. He texts Shin, I have dinner tonight, go home and don't wait. Meanwhile, Jiwon comes to Jin's new apartment to meet him. He gets irritated and says, we are separated now, you don't need to worry about me. She says, we were like family, how can I not worry? I also spend your money. She thinks maybe breakup happened because he was emotional, but that was her misunderstanding. In his heart, only Shin was there. Next scene, Shin is forced to go to restaurant with Kaif, and there they coincidentally meet Zen. He offers to treat them. Kaif agrees. At restaurant, Zen tells her he helped Shin a lot in work. Kaif understands their bond is strong, so she leaves them alone. He stops Shin and says, you're avoiding me, do you like me? She says, no such thing. He talks about his depression and problems. He asks her, will you help me? She takes him for foot massage. Both feel pain but also smile. After spending time with Shin, his mood gets better. He thanks her. She says, it's nothing special, just foot massage. To reduce her sadness, she often visits the same place. Meanwhile, Lee Hao meets May and it is revealed she has offered him a job in her company. Instead of going home, Shin goes to the cafe. Kaif asks if something happened between her and Zen and points out how her eyes shine whenever his name comes up. She insists she doesn't like him and denies everything. Next day, Lee Hao resigns from the company, leaving unfinished work behind. Colleagues are upset, and soon everyone learns he and Shin were in a relationship. One colleague angrily confronts Shin, saying she should resign instead. Zen steps in, defends her, and shuts him down completely. Kaif realizes Lee Hao resigned for Shin and feels hurt that he didn't tell her. She feels distant since he used to share everything before. Meanwhile, Zen surprisingly gets promoted despite a mistake. He learns it's because of Jiwon's recommendation, which hurts his ego deeply. On the other hand, Shin argues with Lee Hao for not informing her about resigning. He says he wanted to surprise her with a new job, but she feels it's a shock, not a surprise, and leaves upset. At night, Zen attends his promotion party and confirms the truth about Jiwon's role. This increases his frustration and resentment. Shin, feeling hurt, drinks and becomes emotional. Lee Hao calls her repeatedly, but she ignores him, and when he stops calling, she feels even more hurt. Meanwhile, Jiwon calls Zen for help, and he leaves the party early. Shin becomes emotional, and both she and Kaif get heavily drunk. They call Shin to pick them up, but Shin drunkenly calls Zen, who arrives immediately. She hugs him and says she hates him, but cannot stop thinking about him. He gets emotional and almost kisses her, but Kpop interrupts. Soon Yen arrives shocked to see his boss there, and both men take the girls home. Yen takes care of Kpop while Zen looks after Shin. Even in sleep, she holds his hand and says she hates him while he softly confesses he loves her. Next morning, Yen explains to Kpop that she called him while drunk. In another room, Shin wakes up shocked to see Zen, who reminds her of what she said last night. She quickly denies everything, blaming it on being drunk. Just then, Kpop notices them, and before anything happens, the doorbell rings. It is Lee Hao who comes to pick Shin. Kpop quickly hides David and Zen to avoid misunderstandings. Lee Hao apologizes, but Shin demands a proper apology. Hearing this, Zen gets angry and steps forward, confronting Lee Hao. He reminds him of his promise to take care of Shin and accuses him of failing. Lee Hao feels embarrassed and explains the situation, promising he won't disappoint again. He takes Shin with him while Zen remains upset after everything. She says she doesn't love him and only came to the hospital to meet her friend, then leave. At that moment, she feels confused about what to do next. She quickly calls Lee Hao, but he doesn't pick up, which makes her more worried. The person she needs the most is not there for her. Many days pass without meeting him. Later, she confronts Kpop, saying what she is doing with Zen is wrong. She insists she doesn't like him, but Kpop doesn't believe her, and they end up having a big fight. After the argument, she goes home and finds Lee Hao hasn't returned. She receives a message from him saying he won't come home that night, which makes her feel more lonely. Next day, Mei brings Lee Hao into Zen's company for a meeting. It is revealed that Mei has given him a high position in her company. Zen congratulates him, but questions if he gives time to Shin. Lee Hao says she always supports him and never gets angry, which makes Shin feel jealous. Her behavior shows she is starting to like Lee Hao, though he remains unaware. Meanwhile, Shin feels ignored and distant in the relationship. At night, Zen comes to the old apartment and meets Shin again. She tells him to take his mail and never return, but he insists on seeing her sometime. This leads to another argument. He points out Lee Hao's busy schedule and asks if she even spends time with him, but she denies everything and says she doesn't like him. She decides to go to Lee Hao's office late at night. Zen insists on dropping her, and although she resists, he takes her anyway. Jivan sees them together and becomes jealous, though she cannot see Shin's face clearly. She decides to find out who the girl is. At the office, Shin still doesn't meet Lee Hao as he is busy. Next day, he apologizes for making her wait and takes her for breakfast, saying she makes him feel lucky. When she asks about marriage, he avoids the topic, saying he is too busy. This makes her feel unimportant and hurt. He leaves again after getting a call from Mei, leaving her alone. Seeing other couples around her makes her feel even more lonely and emotional. She starts feeling sick and tries calling him, but he doesn't answer. Finally, Zen comes to pick her up and takes her to the hospital. He brings her home and takes care of her kindly. During this, Jivan arrives and sees signs that another woman is inside, making her furious. She accuses him of cheating, but he says they already broke up. She insists she still loves him, revealing their past relationship and unresolved feeling. It is revealed she had a pregnancy in the past and ended it without telling him, which caused him to lose all feelings for her. He asks her to leave. After she leaves, Shin comes downstairs. Zen confesses that he doesn't like Jivan anymore and that Shin has a special place in his heart. He expresses his love and later drops her home. Meanwhile, Jivan refuses to move on despite her sister's advice. At night, Lee Hao receives an expensive gift from Mei. Shin feels jealous, but he assures her Mei is only his boss and she trusts him. He promises to spend time with her when free, which makes her happy. Next morning, he leaves a note for her breakfast before going to work. However, her day goes badly. She almost falls, spills coffee, and gets scolded for being late. Kpop helps her, but the situation remains stressful. She works overtime, and when Zen calls to check on her, she gets angry and tells him not to contact her again. She says there is no need to call anyone and questions what he even knows about her bad day. Hearing this, he laughs in confusion, wondering why she is suddenly behaving this way. Meanwhile, Kpop finds out that David was the one who spilled coffee on her and takes revenge for her friend. Both of them are left shocked, standing speechless. That night, Leo comes to pick her up and asks her to come outside, but suddenly Meiji calls her for urgent office work. She had just stepped out with Kpop, but everything gets interrupted again. As she leaves, Lee Hao also goes away, leaving her alone. At the same time, Jin arrives and sees her situation, feeling bad for her. An old man bumps into her and starts blaming her loudly, saying she ruined his fruits. Jin doesn't help at first, and she becomes emotional, feeling the whole day went wrong. Later, Jin offers to take her out for dinner if she is hungry. They both go to a restaurant together. He tells her that since selling the apartment, he feels she is always unhappy and Lee Hao doesn't spend time with her. He even regrets selling the house. She ignores him and says she has started hating him, yet doesn't understand how he always knows what she needs. He feels her emotions are confusing but genuine. Meanwhile, Ji-won spots them and runs toward them, but they leave before she reaches. The next day at the office, Jin sends her flowers. Instead of feeling happy, she gets more irritated while Kaif keeps teasing her. Later, she checks CCTV footage and learns something important, which makes her angry. She confronts another woman, accusing her of cheating despite Lee Hao's proposal. Her friend steps in and defends her, revealing that she was the one with Shen that night. The woman slaps her friend and leaves angrily. Later, she questions her friend for interfering, but her friend says she would do anything for her. Her friend also says Jin loves her more than Jivan, which upsets her even more. She refuses to accept it and becomes emotional. Now she realizes she must choose between Jin and Lee Hao and decides to make a final decision. On the other side, Jivan tells everything to Jivan. Her sister scolds her for creating drama and warns that Jin's hatred will only increase. Office gossip spreads, but Jiwon shuts everyone down confidently. Later, Jin calls her and she tells him everything Jiwon said. Meanwhile, someone else confronts Jin, angrily accusing him of spending the night with her. Jin tries to explain it is a misunderstanding, but no one believes him. Confused, he later receives a message from her asking to meet. At the bar, she tells him she has decided to end everything and asks him to forget her. She says she doesn't want to ruin anyone's life and tells him to go back to Jiwon. Jin is heartbroken and insists she loves him, but she denies it and says she only loves Lee Hao. She leaves and he stands there shattered. At home, she cannot stop thinking about him. She shares everything with Kaif, who advises her to choose Jin instead, but she refuses, saying she always loved Lee Hao and has already made her decision. Kaif supports her choice and stands by her. Next day, Jin approaches her again, but she rejects him. He still doubts everything and later warns Lee Hao about Kaif. At night, Lee Hao tells her to stay away from Kaif, but she defends her friend. However, she feels hurt that Lee Hao doesn't give her enough time. She becomes emotional, feeling he might leave her someday. He denies it, but his lack of openness hurts her more. Finally, she decides to leave him for his happiness. She removes her ring and tells him to choose someone else. Lee Hao gets hurt and immediately apologizes, saying she is the only one for him. In the end, he asks her to marry him soon. After that, he says that after the wedding, they will enjoy everything together and starts planning arrangement. Hearing this, she feels a little happy and thinks she should call Jin once. Next, Meiji meets Jin and tells him that if he doesn't love her sister, he should take back all the support he gave. She believes this will help her move on. Jin gets confused and wonders if he should talk to Jivan about it. Meanwhile, at night, Jivan comes to meet him as if nothing happened. He doesn't like her behavior and questions why she slapped Kaif. She replies that maybe she slapped the wrong person and that Shin deserved it instead. Hearing this, he gets angry and says both Kaif and Shin are innocent. He destroys her cards and tells her to leave the apartment. Hurt, she walks away. Next, Lee Hao's father comes to help with wedding preparation. He asks her to call him Dad, and when she does, he feels very happy. They start planning everything together. He tells her to invite all colleagues and says they will handle all expenses, making it a grand celebration. She feels happy but still has mixed emotions. Later, Jessica informs her about a project with another company. She is shocked to learn it belongs to Jin and tries to avoid it, but Jessica forces her to continue. In the elevator, she meets Jin again. He holds her hand and explains he didn't come by choice, but she stays silent. She then tells him she is getting married soon and asks him to congratulate her. She also asks him to stop following her. He pretends he doesn't care, but inside he feels hurt. Seeing his reaction, she assumes he truly doesn't care anymore. Back at the office, he fires David and assigns him elsewhere. Meanwhile, Jivan advises her sister to forget Jin and move on. Next, she starts a new job as a wedding planner. Though she tries to avoid Jin, they keep meeting at work. At night, Jin invites everyone for a treat. She refuses at first, but her friend convinces her to join. At the restaurant, he drinks heavily, upset about her marriage. Later, he asks her to take him home, and she helps him. At his apartment, while she tries to settle him, he suddenly pulls her close. She gets angry, hits him, calls him shameless, and leaves. Next day at the office, they argue in front of everyone, shocking others. Meanwhile, Jiwon apologizes to Kpop and Shin for her past actions. She shares that she has become a wedding planner and asks Shin to be her first client. Shin happily agrees. She posts a selfie with Shin announcing her first client. Jiwon informs Shin, making him worried about Shin's safety. Later, Shin tells Lee how she will handle their wedding as a planner, and he agrees. However, he stays busy and cannot accompany her to meetings. Jiwon invites Shin to try wedding dresses. At the shop, she selects a beautiful dress for her. When Jin sees Shin in the dress, he cannot stop looking at her and says she looks beautiful. Jiwon overhears this and feels hurt. Jin warns Jiwon not to hurt Shin. Hearing this, Shin feels emotional, but Jiwon assures her she will arrange the wedding perfectly without causing harm. She believes him and feels everything is fine again. Next night, Jiwon messages Shin asking which dress she liked most. Shin tells Lee how the dress was very expensive. He tells her if she likes it, they should buy it, but not right now. He then reveals he has received a promotion and will have to go abroad for 6 months. Shin gets shocked and upset, feeling their wedding is postponed again. She gets angry and says he is becoming selfish, only focused on work and not her feeling. Lee Hao doesn't argue and quietly accepts it. On the other side, Jin still cannot forget Shin. He keeps thinking about her and tries again to get close, hoping her anger will fade. But she clearly tells him she does not want to get pregnant before marriage and says she doesn't want any relationship if he cannot value her feelings. She is very upset. Next day at the office, David insults Kpop in front of everyone, calling her a bad girl. Shin and Kpop hear everything and step forward to defend her. A big argument starts. Jin hears about it and informs Jessica. Jessica gets angry and forces David to apologize to both girls. David has no choice but to apologize. Shin and Kpop feel relieved and happy afterward. Jessica then announces Shin as a project partner, shocking her. At the restaurant, Shin tells Kpop that her wedding has been delayed. Kpop informs Shin, who sees this as another chance to get closer to her. But Shin still rejects him and tells him to stay away. He compliments her beauty, but she ignores him completely. Meanwhile, Jiwon hears about the delay and feels upset, thinking Jin will now get another chance. At the same time, Lee Hao leaves for work again. Shin tells Kpop about it. Jin hears this and becomes quietly happy. Soon, Jessica sends Shin, Kpop, and Jen to meet an important client. During the trip, Jin keeps secretly watching Shin. Their car breaks down, so they take a bus instead. She ignores him and sits far away. They reach a large house. Shin accidentally enters a room and finds David inside, causing a shocking situation. Kpop also falls into the scene accidentally. Both groups are shocked when they realize David is actually a wealthy relative connected to the company. Because of this, everyone has to stay there overnight. Kpop apologizes to David, worried she might lose her job. Later, she distracts herself with a dating app, forgetting the awkward situation. Shin goes to get medicine for Jin's injury, and he follows her to make sure she is safe. On the way, their scooter breaks down again. She laughs at her bad luck, and they walk together. Meanwhile, they also discover that the man Kpop was talking to is actually David. Jin carries Shin when she gets tired. David feels embarrassed and asks them not to reveal his secret about dating apps, and they agree. Later, Shin drinks wine and even makes Jin drink. Eventually, they sit outside together, sharing a quiet moment. She thanks him for staying with her. Suddenly, he kisses her, and she briefly responds, creating a romantic moment. But she stops and says she cannot betray Lee Hao. She tells Jin they should remain just friends. Jin feels hurt, but agrees. She goes back inside and tells Kpop nothing happened between them and that they are just friends. Next scene, they leave the place as the chairman has not arrived yet. Shin had already started treating Jin as a friend until Lee Hao returned. Kpop stayed at her apartment and kept teasing her about Jin. Although she often irritated him, Jin still took care of her at the office as a friend. Slowly, she also started accepting things he gave her. Even at work, Jin began treating all employees with care. However, they still had no contact with Chairman David, which worried everyone. Shin discusses this with Kpop, and Kpop assures her she will handle it. Shin then decides to talk to David since he is related to the chairman and might help. After Kpop leaves, Jin invites Shin for dinner, saying that since they are friends now, she should not refuse. She agrees, and he feels happy. Kpop goes to David with food, trying to impress him. He realizes she is trying to use him for the chairman's favor and directly tells her so. She denies it, saying she likes him, but David ignores her. Meanwhile, Jin and Shin go to a restaurant. Shin pays her own bill, which surprises and impresses Jin. He tells her about an upcoming company party and insists she attend as his partner. She refuses at first, but later agree. That weekend, Lee Hao cancels meeting her due to work, which makes her sad, but she accepts it. Kate continues trying to impress David, but fails repeatedly. Shin advises her to understand what he actually likes instead of forcing things. That night, Kate brings food for David, trying again to impress him. At the same time, Jin gifts Shin a beautiful dress and shoes for the party, and she slowly starts trusting him as a friend. At the party, Shin looks beautiful and Jin praises her repeatedly. Director Amy and Ji-won also attend. Jin is taken away by director Amy, leaving Shin and Ji-won alone. Ji-won tells Shin she has broken up with Shin and is now independent. She warns her to stay away from him. Shin feels sad but accepts reality and decides to move on. Soon after, Ji-won suddenly falls sick and Jin rushes her to the hospital. He also calls Shin to check if she reached home safely, and she assures him she is fine. Ji-won's surgery is successful and Jin takes care of her. Ji-won is surprised by his concern, while Shin tells Kate everything and mentions Jin and Ji-won are still emotionally connected. She also says she plans to go surprise Lee Hao soon. Next day, she informs Jessica and Jin overhears, feeling upset. Shin goes to surprise Lee Hao, but he reacts coldly and sends her back, leaving her hurt. Later, she sees Jin with another woman at a club and misunderstands the situation. She gets drunk and breaks down, calling Kate in distress. Next morning, Jin finds her upset. She accuses him of cheating, but he tries to explain. She refuses to listen, removes her ring, and breaks up with him, saying he can be with that woman. Jin tries to stop her, but she leaves. Later, he explains everything to Kate, revealing he had already broken up with Lee Hao. Shin prepares to leave for the airport. Jin takes her to drop her off. In the car, she becomes emotional, saying she truly loved Lee Hao, but everything went wrong and she regrets ignoring Jin's feeling. Jin feels bad and comforts her. He tells her not to worry and says he is with her. He takes her home and she agrees and leaves. Meanwhile, Lee Hao is still upset about Shin. Mei notices this and asks him about it. He explains there was a misunderstanding between him, Shin, and Ji-won, but nothing more. Mei advises him to give Shin space and avoid contact for now. He agrees. Shin brings Kate to her home and decides to pack her things, thinking she no longer needs to live with Lee Hao. She chooses to stay with Kate, but doesn't inform Lee Hao. After a few days, Lee Hao keeps calling her, but she doesn't respond as she is focused on work in a peaceful place and ignores his call. Later, Shin visits the hospital to meet Jin. She offers to repay the wedding expenses and says she and Lee Hao have broken up, meaning they may never marry. Jin overhears this from outside and feels hopeful, but also conflicted. Outside, Shin meets Jin and thanks him for his support. She tells him they should remain just friends. He asks if she can see him as more, but she clearly refuses and leaves. Later, Ji-won meets the director and gets impressed. She offers Jin a job in her company so he can stay close to Zen. He accepts. Next day at the office, Shin arrives looking beautiful, surprising everyone. Kate praises her as she has never dressed like this before. Shin decides she will no longer live according to Lee Hao's plans and will follow her own heart from now on. Meanwhile, Kate still tries to impress David, but he keeps ignoring her. Zen also returns to the office and shocks everyone. Shin joins as his executive assistant. He sets a 2-month deadline to convince Mr. David for investment, and everyone starts working harder. Ji-won warns him to separate personal and business matters. He realizes she brought him close to Zen intentionally. Next day, Kate finds David missing from work and goes to his apartment. She finds him sick, panics, and calls Shin for help. Shin comes and cooks for him. Kate asks if she likes him, but Shin denies it, saying she is only helping for work. David recovers and agrees to the deal. Later, they meet Uncle David. The condition is Zen must join the project. He agrees, but is unhappy and asks Shin to bring Lee Hao back, but she refuses. Lee Hao returns and keeps calling Shin, but she avoids him. Meanwhile, Shin and Jin share memories and emotional moments about the past. Lee Hao visits Shin's apartment and finds it empty, which hurts him. He later sees Shin at Kate's place and asks her to come back, but she refuses. After he leaves, Zen sees everything and becomes suspicious of their relationship. Later, Jin takes care of Shin outside, gives her his coat, and protects her from the cold. Next day, Zen comes to pick her for work, and when Lee Hao sees them together, his suspicion deepens even more. He becomes completely sure that something is definitely wrong here. Next, a meeting scene is shown where Jessica already knows that David will be working with them. Then Lee Hao enters with a bouquet and suddenly proposes to Shin in front of everyone. Employees are shocked and start pressuring her to accept, but Jin is watching everything and becomes very disturbed, thinking about what will happen if she accepts. Shin steps back, but Lee Hao holds her and says this is what she wanted, him leaving everything for her, so why is she angry now? He even starts forcing the situation. Jin takes him inside and locks the door, asking why he is troubling Shin. Lee Hao says this is between him and Shin and Jin should stay out of it. Outside employees try to open the door. Jin warns Lee Hao to stay away from Shin, saying she belongs to him and he should not even think about her. Inside, Shin feels. Outside, Jin gets tense, thinking Lee Hao might harm Shin. Lee Hao then angrily accuses her of sleeping with Jin, which shocks Shin. In emotional pressure, she says his assumption is correct and even claims the apartment issue was not innocent. Everyone outside hears this and is shocked. Jessica also learns about the entire situation in the office. Shin then confronts Kaif, angrily blaming her for everything and accusing Jin of betraying her because of her. Kaif gets furious, but Shin stops her from reacting. Meanwhile, Lee Hao becomes obsessive and depressed, refusing to let go of Shin. Jessica confronts Shin, questioning why Jin chose her over Lee Hao. Jin defends Shin strongly, saying she did nothing wrong and that he likes her. Jessica gets even more angry, but Jin tells everyone to stay out of his personal life. Lee Hao keeps calling Shin repeatedly, but she ignores him. Kaif also tells him not to disturb her. Shin overhears all of this. Jin waits outside Shin's place. When she comes out, he apologizes, but she says it is fine. He says since everyone knows about them now, they can openly be together, but Shin clearly says she only sees him as a friend. He laughs it off, saying he was joking. Next day, Kaif finds Jin at Shin's apartment and gets shocked. Shin comes out and clarifies nothing happened, saying he only stayed there because he was drunk. Later, Shin sees people gossiping about her in the group chat, but decides to ignore everything and continue working. At the office, she faces judgment, but stays focused. Jin supports her completely and even says he will leave the project if she is removed. Jessica becomes angry seeing his behavior. Later, Lee Hao's father finds out everything and scolds him, forcing him to apologize. Lee Hao refuses and claims Shin cheated on him. Shin then comes forward and tells everyone she had an affair, confirming the breakup and declaring she wants no relationship anymore. After she leaves, silence falls. Lee Hao becomes deeply depressed and his sister notices he has completely lost focus on work. He also tells her that now there is no need for her to resign or leave anywhere, she will continue working in the office. At the office, Jin had not arrived yet, so Kaif starts worrying. She tells Shin to message him and ask where he is, but Shin refuses and says if he wants to come, he will come himself. After some time, Lee Hao and Sister Mage enter together. They have also invested in the project, so from now on they will work with them. Everyone gets shocked seeing this. Jin feels very uncomfortable. He thinks maybe all this is planned by Jivan. He takes her aside and asks about it. Jivan says, yes, it is my investment. If it is mine, what is wrong in it? It will benefit everyone. Shin also asks Lee Hao why he came to this company. He says his boss told him to join, so he had to follow orders. He clearly plans to trouble Shin and Jin in the office. Jin looks very annoyed and does not want to work with Lee Hao at all. Later, Sister Mage drinks a lot with Shin, and he gets very drunk. In that condition, he suddenly kisses her and then immediately apologizes, but she ignores it and does not make it a big issue. On the other side, David has now started having feelings for Kaif and secretly watches her. One of their colleagues, Melly, finds out that David likes Kaif, so she takes Kaif aside and gives her advice. She tells her not to be too clingy and to show attitude if she wants David's attention. Kaif starts following her advice. Meanwhile, Shin feels jealous seeing Melly and David together. David starts acting more confident and distant because of Melly's advice. Kaif notices this change and gets surprised. Later, Shin and Kaif sit in a restaurant. Kaif tries to convince Shin to start a relationship with Shin, but Shin says she just wants to stay single for some time. David also worries that maybe Kaif is angry with him. Later, Lee Hao calls Shin for dinner, but she refuses. At night, Lee Hao sees Shin and Jun together at a restaurant and becomes very jealous. Actually, Kaif arranged this meeting so they could get closer. Shin avoids Jin because she is worried that his job might get affected because of her. Jin tells her not to worry about him. Suddenly, Lee Hao arrives there and ruins the moment. Both Jin and Shin leave the place because of him. The next day, Kaif and David officially become a couple, which makes Kaif very happy. But problems continue in the office. Lee Hao submits a report, but Jin rejects it, saying it is not original. Lee Hao gets angry and says he worked very hard on it. This creates tension between them again. Sister Mage tries to calm things down and tells Lee Hao not to mix personal issues with work. Jin also explains that he always keeps personal and professional life separate and only focuses on work. His explanation improves the mood of everyone, and they start respecting his professionalism. Shin also gets impressed by him. Later, preparations for a press conference are going on. Everyone is busy. Suddenly, the system crashes and Kaif calls Shin for backup support from the old office. At the same time, David also sends Lee Hao to help because he has the key. Shin does not want to go with Lee Hao, but she has no choice. After some time, the issue gets fixed, but Lee Hao hears everything and decides to take Shin somewhere else instead of the event. Jin gets worried because Shin suddenly disappears and he cannot find her. Lee Hao refuses to let Shin go and says she should not be afraid because they were once in a relationship. Shin feels very uncomfortable and tries to leave, but he stops her. Meanwhile, the press event starts and Jin is supposed to give a speech, but he gets a call from Shin saying she is in trouble. He immediately leaves the event and runs to help her, ignoring everything. At the same time, Lee Hao tries to force Shin again, but Jin arrives and warns him to stay away from her or he will call the police. Lee Hao leaves, but warns Jin that he will not let him go easily. Shin feels guilty that because of her, Jin lost an important opportunity. Kaif gets angry when she hears everything and asks why Jin went there. She also learns that Lee Hao tried to bully Shin. Jin says he will handle everything himself and tells everyone not to worry. Later, Lee Hao is criticized for everything and is blamed for Jin missing the event. Tension increases again between everyone and things become more complicated in the office. He says, if you are in a relationship with someone, then that is why you left me and chose Jin. David hears all these things. He cannot tolerate even a single bad word against his girlfriend, so he protects her and even argues with Lee Hao, saying, from now on you will not say anything to Kaif. Seeing this, Shin gets impressed. She thinks, wow, no one has ever protected me like this before. At that moment, she realizes she has started liking him. Shin and Jun go to meet Chairman Wang. Suddenly, a call comes and he has to leave for a moment. Behind him, they praise Jin in front of Shin, saying he truly loves her, even left his job to save her. She should value him. Later, Shin finds out that Jin has lost his job. She feels very upset, thinking it is all because of her. But Jin tells her not to worry and says he is actually happy and will spend more time with her. Slowly, Shin starts smiling again. Meanwhile, David finally manages to impress Kaif. He even starts thinking about a future with her and talks about having kids, which makes Kaif a little annoyed, but also happy. Kaif later shares this happiness with Shin, and Shin feels glad that her friend finally chose someone. Next scene, Shin submits her resignation letter. She tells Jivan that now the responsibility of handling the CEO seat goes back to Jin. Jivan says she will handle everything. At night, Lee Hao comes again to disturb Shin. He gets angry and says she should not be afraid of him. He reminds her they were in a 3-year relationship. He even tries to force her. Shin gets scared and says the real reason for their breakup was only him. He never gave her time and she was always alone. She says now she only has feelings for Jin. Even if people think she cheated, it is not true. They never spent a night together. Lee Hao is shocked and realizes he misunderstood everything. Shin says she tried to tell him the truth earlier, but he never believed her. She says he never trusted her and now it is too late. She tells him clearly that her heart now belongs to Jin. Lee Hao feels devastated and realizes he lost her because of his own mistake. Next day, Lee Hao decides to transfer and says goodbye to everyone. He apologizes for his past behavior. Shin also feels a little emotional but accepts it. Meanwhile, Shin finally meets Jin and goes on a date with him. She asks him why he likes her. He says love has no reason, it just happens. She smiles. Later, they share an emotional moment and finally express their feelings properly. Jin tells her he will always wait for her no matter how much time she needs. Jivan is happy that Jin will finally return to his position in the company. Lee Hao leaves the company for good and starts a new life. After some time, David and Kaif's wedding takes place. Everyone attends happily. Shin and Jin attend the wedding and bless the couple. In the end, both Lee Hao and Jivan have also chosen their own partners and moved on in life. Shin and Jin finally start their relationship properly.